with the red banner held high, marching forward through the night. Promises of old will keep as the donkeys start to weep. Stars and stripes forever sway, in the land of the brave we stay. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down.
With a flagpole planted firm,
golden dreams that won't decay,
marching proudly through the day.
In the eagle's shadow by, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains tall, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we stride, in the light of freedom's guide. We got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. Times are changing, feel the buzzing, staying true when they're fussing. Keep the flag a-flying through stormy nights. With the star-spangled banner, I stand tall with manners. Cross my heart with hope in sight. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and free, with liberty. Stick to values in the trends. Families gather, let's defend. Hold the line, keep the bond alive. Truth in our vision, in God we make decisions. For our dream, through thrive and strive. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and prairie, with liberty. We'll keep fighting for what's right, standing strong in the night. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and bravery, with liberty.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Culturama, where on this show we are trying to reclaim the zeitgeist of America, of traditional Americana, back into the United States, the one that we have lost so long ago with the inclusion of postmodernism and critical theory into our academic institutions and in our culture. And so on today's show, what we are going to be discussing is a lot. This is why I'm calling this episode the Manifest Destiny episode, because Trump has made a lot of very interesting declarations having to do with getting Greenland, okay, and possibly the Panama Canal as well. Justin Trudeau just stepped down, or he's in the process of stepping down, and Trump has insinuated or slightly suggested that Canada should become the 51st state. And, you know, there's a lot of major developments happening that is really putting the question of how superior is the United States really in the Western world. And it seems to be the case that Trump is not going to hold back. This is his last admin, and he's going to take it in full swing, and he's going to take full advantage of his administrative powers to do what he can to make America truly great again. And that's what we'll be discussing today. So it's going to be a very interesting episode. I think you guys are going to enjoy this one. Let me check in the chat here in a minute. I see that we have a lot of people already tuning into the show. So thank you everyone that have decided to join. I think you will really much appreciate and enjoy this episode today. I'm just going to go through the chat briefly here since I just started. But we have Stephen Wolf already right in the chat. Gulf America to the Arctic Ocean, Canada, Greenland, and the Panama Canal will be ours. Very true, Stephen Wolf. Thank you for joining, and he seems to be on YouTube, so it's always good to see the YouTube people join in the stream. Obviously, you know, my main audience is on Rumble, but I love to see YouTubers comment and tune in the show. So thank you so much for Stephen Wolf for joining us today. We have AP for Liberty. Also saying he's ready to die for Greenland, indeed. Barney Styles, hello Barney Styles, thank you for joining the stream. It's always good to see you. And he said that I don't know about all that, but I'll allow a battleship bombardment. Yes, I haven't seen one of those in a while. That would be interesting, Barney Styles. Yes, a battleship bombardment would be quite something else. Cecilia H, thank you so much, Cecilia, for tuning into the show. It's always good to see you. Mr. Pig is in the chat as well, saying it's been a busy week. Yes, there have been a lot of major developments, and like I said, so we'll be covering that as well. And then Grizz Cheese, hello Grizz Cheese, hello to the Liberty fam, he said. And Petita Cat. Viva las Greenlanditas. Hello, Petita Cat. This is a new name. It's always good to see new faces in the Rumble chat. So thank you for joining us today. So, yes, there have been major developments happening with what Trump has been saying, considering, you know, obtaining Greenland. How exactly will this happen? We are not quite sure. Obviously, conversations will have to be had with Denmark, since it is technically their territory. But since I last heard, Trump Force One has visited Greenland already. Trump Jr. has already landed in Greenland. And, you know, I have stories to read about this and touch on this, so I won't be discussing it right now. But I did want to watch a video with you guys. And in this video, I get goosebumps when I watch it. I'm really excited. AP Flay, LOL, you are now petite a cat. Yes, I see the comments here. LOL, I love this site. Hello, Petito Cat. Thank you for loving this site and thank you for joining us. Anyway, but it is Trump's announcement. He did come out with a little speech here in the press conference. So I wanted to watch that with you guys today. And honestly, I really am excited with what's happening. People have been talking about it on Twitter and have been discussing it because it's been thrown into the zeitgeist already. The conversation is American Manifest Destiny really becoming manifest now? Is America, the United States, the once exceptional country that it once was, and pushing the borders, pushing the boundaries of what America can do, and becoming the superpower that we always have been, like we have been in the past, is it happening again today? And, you know, for someone like me in the present generation that I'm living in, this is sort of foreign. seeing how Americanism is really trying to expand the limits of what we can do, and it literally expand our borders. And in this generation, the last few generations, although you may argue that it has happened more so overseas, but we haven't really seen it happen so much in the Western world. And so this is really exciting. So I want to play this video and this press release first and foremost before we proceed with the show today. But let me get that up for you. Alrighty. So if you guys can see the video right behind me right here, it's Trump. Trump says that he wants to name the Gulf of Mexico, rename the Gulf of Mexico. It'll be changed to the Gulf of America. Let's take a listen to this.
We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name.
The Gulf of America, isn't that exciting?
And it's appropriate. It's appropriate. We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico.
Although this is exciting news, especially for Americans, and if you are an American, you should really, I think you should be prideful of what is happening here.
The Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring.
Obviously, you're going to have naysayers. Obviously, you're going to have naysayers. People on the other side saying that, you know, this is just another aspect of colonialism, whether they call it traditional colonial. I suppose it's more of the traditional element or aspect of colonialism rather than what they say is a neocolonialism. But, you know, of course, this is going to have some naysayers. But what I say is that if you truly are an American, you should be excited about what's happening here. If you take pride in your nation, and if you trust the powers that be, I know a lot of us don't, but given that you are patriotic and you do believe in American exceptionalism, which I like to think that, you know, a lot of us do, at least the viewers of this show, this should be exciting news and interesting news. I don't know how realistic this would be, but I have high hopes because, like I said, this is Trump's last administration. I really do think that he's going to do everything in his power to accomplish and follow through with the promises that he has put forward. In the previous administration he has had, it was new for him. He was working with people that, or filled his administration up with people that may have not or should have not been trusted initially. Maybe he was misled in a few cases. Perhaps I'm giving Trump too many justifications, and I understand there's a school of people out there that think that Trump has already been overly justified, and I understand that. However, I also think that we shouldn't be, you know, we shouldn't be blackpilling so soon. He hasn't even been sworn in yet, so let's take a step back and hope for the best. And if this really can be accomplished, this is big news. Also, breaking, Trump Force One has landed in Greenland, like I had mentioned, and there we go. Here's the proof for all of you guys. Just tweeted by Jack Posobiec. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm getting pretty excited. I have a couple more stories about the Greenland situation. Apparently what has happened is that Donald Trump Jr. has arrived in Greenland the other day, and I found a few articles state that he's just there for podcasting, just to film some footage and for his podcast. It has nothing to do with meeting of political officials. Right, that's what they say. And all of a sudden, here comes out Trump Force One. So we'll be reading a few of those articles and watching a few more videos. So bear with me, and we will be right back with that. But let me double check on the chat here one more time. Petita Cat, last time I was in the Gulf of America, I got sick somewhere east of the Dry Tortugas. Oh my, I am so sorry to hear that. Jose Palacios, I believe, 2 minutes ago from YouTube. He writes, hello, everyone. Hello, Jose. Thank you so much for joining us, and it's really good to see you. Very good to see the turnout. Very good. I see in the chat people are asking about coffee. Okay, so, yes. Hold on a second. Where's the original comment on that? I don't... Yeah, so... AP for Liberty must have already given it out. We do have Atomic Blonde coffee. I will have I will be shilling that out later on in the stream. So everyone, if you're a coffee lover, you're going to enjoy this next this next product that has come out on the Grift Shop at Culturama. I will be pulling that out later on as an ad for you guys to take a look at. But I really think you're going to enjoy this next product. Again, it is coffee. I've never had coffee made on my behalf, and I am so excited to finally have coffee under the Culturama name. I really think you guys are going to enjoy that. So I will be doing that later on in the stream, and I'll be showing that product along with other products in the Culturama shop. And for anyone that happens to be new and for some reason doesn't know, if anyone watches my show, they already know about the Grift Shop because I talk about it at every episode multiple times. But if you're new here, yes, there is a Culturama shop. It's a Culturama collection. You can buy pillows, you can buy sweatshirts, you can buy mugs like this delightful mug right here. It says Culturama on it, taking back tomorrow today. That's the tagline. I didn't open up this stream with that tagline. I didn't practice my intro, but we have wonderful products on there, and yes, we do have coffee now, so I will be showing that a little later. It is called the Atomic Blonde roast, I believe. Okay, so I'm going to be back. I'm going to bring out the next story having to do with Greenland. Trump's taking of Greenland, Manifest Destiny, American expansion. And hopefully, if we do discover, maybe we'll discover things that we've never discovered before in Greenland. Maybe we will finally have access to Agartha. So, stay tuned. I will be right back, and I will be bringing in the next stories. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy it.
We stand firm in our belief. Hold tight. Through the times clearer we can see. Crazy world spinning round. Stay grounded. In our hearts simple truth supreme. Whisper of freedom and liberty. Rings true. Our foundation strong and deep. Holding on to what we know, while the rest of the world lets go. Steady path we choose to follow, while the winds of change blow. In the story we built for trust in, never doubt. Time flies but we won't bend. Communists talk loud and fast. Stay solid. Our quiet strength is our reply. So salute to change but pause. Reflect. In unity our dearest friend. Holding on to what we know, while the rest of the world lets go. Steady path we choose to follow, while the winds of change blow. In shadows we find our light. Through chaos we stay upright. With courage, faith on our side. Forever. Standing firm, our guide. Holding on to what we know, while the rest of the world lets go. Steady path we choose to follow, while the winds of change blow.
Okay, we are back here in Culturama. Thank you for everyone that is joining. I see that we have new and growing numbers on Rumble and on Twitter. So I'm going to ask you guys to do one thing for me. If you're watching on Twitter, please, please, please like and share. Or retweet, I suppose, is the terminology now. But like it, retweet it. You can't necessarily comment. I wish you could. But you can comment afterwards, after the video or the stream is posted. But I did share it, so if you're watching it, that's a really great way to promote the stream without having to, financially donate. But if you are watching on Rumble, I do highly advise you guys to send in a Rumble rant. That way you can ask me virtually anything, given that it's, moderately appropriate. and I will answer it. You can ask me, you can make comments, and sometimes when the chat is especially active, I will not read all your comments. I will not have time, so it'll be very much appreciated if you do send a Rumble rant. It goes a long way in supporting the show, and of course, I will read your comments. And then lastly, like I'd mentioned, we do have the Grift Shop, which I'll be showing later. But I promised you guys that we will be talking about Greenland and the coming golden age. Everyone says that we're in the Kali age, but I don't think that is the case anymore. Let me pull up this first story here. Hold on a second. So, well, oh, man. There we go. Let's take a listen at this video. Trump makes a very compelling case for the age that we're living in, like I'd mentioned. Let me make sure my volume is up. Okay.
And in a very short period of time in drilling. And you can talk about windmills.
Let's hold on a second. Let's start from the very beginning. Here we go.
We're approaching the dawn of America's golden age. It's going to be a golden age.
Let me repeat that for you guys again. He says we are approaching the dawn of the American golden age. Okay.
We're approaching the dawn of America's golden age. It's going to be a golden age for America. We have things that nobody else has. We have more natural resources. We have, number one, nobody knew that until I came along. I made us number one. We're number three. I made us number one in a very short period of time in drilling.
And drilling,
and
okay.
You can talk about windmills. They litter our country.
You can talk about windmills. You can talk about panels. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing, and it never will be.
Littered all over our country, like dropping paper, like dropping garbage in a field, and that's what happens to them because in a period of time they turn to garbage. Most expensive energy ever. They only work if you get subsidy. The only people that want them are the people that are getting rich off windmills, getting massive subsidies from the U.S. government. And it's the most expensive energy there is. It's many, many times more expensive than clean natural gas.
Clean natural
so
gas,
we're
yeah.
Gonna try and have
this is
policy
bringing into the fact that I
windmills
really think this relates to why he wants to obtain Greenland, but we will talk about that as we proceed forward.
Being built, off the coast of New Jersey, they want to build like 200 windmills. The people are going crazy. Nobody wants
a lot
them.
of what he's saying here is
And they're
absolutely
very
true.
expensive. They don't work without subsidy. You don't want energy that needs subsidy. Energy is a good business. You don't need subsidy. But when you build these massive towers, and they're 25 stories tall, 40 stories, they have 170 stories tall. The blades, they take 3 ships to ship them. It's crazy. They're dangerous. You see what's happening up in the Massachusetts area with the whales, where they had 2 whales wash ashore in, I think, a 17-year period.
Oh, that's sad. I mean, come on, we love our whales. We can't have that happen to the whales.
And
unfortunate.
Very
Very unfortunate circumstance. We don't need any more dead whales. I just want to listen to the first section again. In fact, I want to see if I can make that into a sound effect.
We're approaching the dawn of America's golden age. It's going to be
We are approaching the dawn of America's golden age. Whatever that means will be interesting. But one of the aspects of that seems to be obtaining Greenland. So let's take a look at that. Here is Trump's announcement regarding this. Was posted on Truth Social. He writes, "I'm hearing that the people of Greenland are MAGA. My son, Don Jr., and various representatives will be traveling there to visit some of the most magnificent areas and sites. Greenland is an incredible place, and the people will benefit tremendously if and when it becomes part of our nation. We will. How do you think Denmark feels when they read the "and when" part? We will protect it and cherish it from a very vicious outside world. Make Greenland great again." This is also very exciting. Of course, Elon Musk tweeted this: "The people of Greenland should decide their future, and I think they want to be a part of America." He tweeted this under Richard Hanania's tweet right here, which Richard Hanania has been making some W's regarding the topic, so that's rare Richard Hanania W's, but thankfully they are happening at least a little bit. So here is an article by AP that, and forgive me for choosing AP. I know their website is like cancer, but it's not slowing down my computer too much. But this article outlines what is exactly happening with Donald Trump Jr. reportedly going to Greenland. And it says here, Donald Trump Jr. to visit Greenland as his father muses anew about the U.S. taking control of it. And this is what the article states. It stated that he is heading over to Greenland, visiting the Danish territory as his father has continued to stoke seemingly far-fetched, is what this article says, suggestions that the U.S. can take control over it. The article states that the younger Trump is going for a day trip to shoot video content for podcasting and will not be meeting with any government officials or political figures, by the way. According to some person familiar with the plans who was not authorized to speak publicly. So they're just, making sure to assuage everyone's concerns. By the way, listen, he's just going there for a podcast, okay? He's just going there for a podcast. There's no other reason why he'll be going there. It's not as though Donald Trump, his father, was stating that we want to make Greenland great again. But regardless, I am hearing that the people of Greenland are MAGA. My son, Don Jr., and various representatives will be traveling there to visit some of the most magnificent areas and sites. President-elect Donald Trump posted on Monday night, so last night. He says Greenland is an incredible place and the people will benefit tremendously and when it becomes part of our nation. And when. The president-elect wrote, we will protect it and cherish it, what we just read, by the way. So, very exciting developments. Obviously, he's not there to make Trump Force One. Also, they're just for a podcast, guys, by the way. It has nothing to do with making any political final decisions, okay? But there is a question about why Greenland. And no, I don't think it just relates to discovering, a new ancient realm or discovering Agartha or anything like that. I do think there is a more pragmatic approach to all of this, and that includes what I believe is access to resources. And that seems to be what's going on here. I think the access to resources is the most viable reason for why Trump wants to obtain Greenland. Also, it's a very strategic location, actually, especially for Arctic routes. And I had a picture here, actually, about that. Let me see if I could. I'll find it in a little bit. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this picture. Because it was a very good picture. Hold on a second. Where is it? I had it. There we go. Yeah. Here it is. I'm going to pull it up for you guys. It's a one-woman show, everyone. Bear with me. How is the chat doing? Good viewership on Rumble. I see that the chat is popping. No donations yet, but that could be changed. And by the way, everyone, I do want to say we do have an Unleash the Beast segment. So if we get enough donations, that will be opened, unleashed today, later on. But where is that darn picture I'm keep trying to get access to? It keeps going away. Here we go. Okay. So this is what I was talking about. Arctic shipping routes. Clearly, Greenland is basically in the middle of all of this. So I think that considering that the United States does not have as adequate of access to other parts of it, it would make sense why he would want Greenland. As you can see, the United States is over here. Greenland is way over here. So it would give us greater access to this within the Arctic Circle here. So clearly this is a strategic move on that. Relating to that, but also what I wanted to discuss is that Greenland, I had a YouTube video pulled up and it's gone now, so let me pull that up as well. But there was a video I had that I want to watch with you guys that explains the natural resources, the abundant resources that are found in Greenland, and it turns out it rivals the Middle East in terms of what kind of resources we can obtain. So that's what I wanted to watch with you. Here, let me get this video right here. There we go. So, if you guys can see this right here, yes. Let's take a listen at this video.
Tool can feel like
Ads,
the biggest
I can't
chore
control
ever.
that on this show.
But why settle when you can have the...
This is Greenland, the largest.
So let's go all the way here to, here we go. 13, or is it 13? So this video basically explains what I think fairly well, the resources that are found in Greenland, and it's a bit educational, So, but bear with me. I think it explains the situation fairly well. Let's take a listen.
Rebound back above sea level in elevation, finally free of the crushing weight that had lasted there for millions of years. And so, in reality, Greenland's future geography in a few hundred years from now is basically anybody's best guess. But without a doubt, the most important things hiding beneath the 3 kilometers of ice on Greenland today are
what is hiding beneath the ice in Greenland? What do you guys think? Is it a Gartha? Is it a hollow earth? Or could it be something a little bit even more substantial than that? What could be substantial than that? Let's take a listen.
Are the resources and raw materials, and specifically hydrocarbons and rare earth elements and minerals. The United States Geological Survey has estimated before that they believe there are a total of 141 billion barrels of hydrocarbons, accounting for roughly 13% of all the planet's undiscovered oil.
13% of all the planet's undiscovered oil, guys. I don't know why any previous administration hasn't considered this before. Like I said, it sounds like it rivals the Middle East in terms of natural resources quite well, and also less terrorists to deal with. So.
And 30% of all of its undiscovered natural gas sitting untapped just beneath the surface of Greenland. If these resource estimates are accurate and were ever to be realized, Greenland would suddenly end up having about as much oil and natural gas as Iraq, and would have the 5th or 6th largest amount of hydrocarbon reserves of any country in the world. Since Greenland continues to remain a territorial possession of Denmark, a European Union and NATO member state, these reserves could theoretically help to dramatically increase Europe's energy independence from other nations like Russia or Iran. But beyond oil and gas, the more interesting,
it also could be that Trump is trying to reclaim this. And it makes sense, he claim it to empower what happens to be and what is the Western sphere of influence, more so than Greater Europe. So a very interesting strategy. I think this makes a lot of sense. And if it's feasible exactly, I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see what the dealings are coming up, what they're going to be. And to see how feasible it is exactly. But I did want to end the story on this article I found that explains the situation and the context a little bit more. But Greenland has suspended any oil discovery, oil exploration, or extraction because of climate change. And so this was in 2021. So we'll just read briefly a little bit here. But it says here, the left-leaning government of Greenland has decided to suspend all oil exploration off the world's largest island, calling it is a natural step because the Arctic government takes the climate crisis seriously. Yes, if they take climate crisis seriously, they may need to set their sights on India because it is one of the largest pollutants of the world. But instead, they're going to set their sights within the Arctic Circle. No oil has been found there yet around Greenland, but officials there have seen potentially vast reserves as a way to help Greenlanders realize that their long-held dream of independence from Denmark by cutting the annual subsidy of 3.4 billion kroner, or $540 million, the Danish territory receives. So, yes, if Trump reclaims this claims this territory, and expands American influence, we very well could be seeing major developments in terms of oil exploration because it simply just has not been happening. For reasons that I think are questionable, frankly, considering that there are other parts of the world where they simply do not care about climate change nearly in the same way, where Greenland, I highly doubt, is a main source of major pollutants of the planet. And they also happen to have these vast reserves of oil. So that's kind of the situation that we're looking at with Greenland. I think this is a really great move on Trump's part and his administration. I have high hopes for it. I just hope it follows through. And really, I'm not going to believe anything until I see anything. But I'm going to retain high hopes here. I'm going to double check on the chat again. $10 from Petita Cat. My sound effect for the long way in supporting this show. And, that brings us one step closer towards unleashing the beast today. Do you guys want to unleash the beast? Leo. Petita Cat, I don't know if you had a chance to see Leo yet, because your username seems to be new here, but he is my dog. And for anyone that's new and watching this stream, I will give you a little context. Leo is my dog. He is disabled. He is mentally disabled. He's not physically disabled. And he is genetically altered in various ways because he is severely inbred. But we love him. We love him, and he loves you guys. He loves to wear his outfits and to come on streams. And I have learned that the audience actually loves to see Leo. So I made a segment called Unleash the Beast.
Monster kill.
And if we get enough donations, I will wheel him out and show you guys, and I think you guys are really going to appreciate that. So continue donating to the stream, and I think you will enjoy the next following few segments, especially when we bring Leo out. So yes, AP for Liberty. I feel like this chat is going to be misunderstood when she reads it. I did not read the chat yet. Let me see here. I'm going through. Oh, were you guys looking at the ad? Is that what this is about? Someone said calisthenics. There was a weird ad by the YouTube video. I was ignoring it. I was doing my best to ignore the ad. Unless that's not what you guys are referring to, and I just gave it away. But Unleash the Beast, Leo. Yeah, I can already see people are getting excited to see Leo. I knew you guys would be excited. This show really isn't about me. It's about my dog. People don't watch it for me. They just sit through me. They tolerate me just so they can get to the good part. It's like getting a Tootsie Roll, you know? A Tootsie, not a Tootsie Roll. What is it called? I'm not a candy consumer. It's like the Tootsie Pop, whatever they're called. They have to sit through the abundant BS that is the lollipop, so you can get to that center. And that center, that the nucleus that maintains this entire show and the entirety of the audience is my dog. So that seems to be what's going on here. Okay, and someone mentioned emoticons in the chat. Emoticons would be a really good idea. Yeah, I already see emoticons though. Where's Leo? Where's Leo? They're already asking for him. Simmer down, you guys. I'm gonna bring him in really soon. It'll be like in another one more story, and I'll bring him in. Okay? We have one more story to go through. Okay? Can we just wait? $10, Robbie Thurman. $10. Hold on. Okay, I just messed up my buttons. Hold on a second. I need to play the guys. Okay. It's a show about a dog's caretaker. Thank you so much, Robbie Thurman. I really appreciate the $10. It looks like we will be bringing him in. Maybe if we get a couple more donos, I'll bring him in earlier. Can we just sit through the news first? Everyone just wants to see Leo. Robbie Thurman, sorry I missed the show this morning. Benadryl and NyQuil are an interesting mix. Oh my God. Well, be careful, Robbie. It's okay. Oh, he's talking to AP actually, I think, right? Because it's in the morning. Yeah, be careful with the Benadryl and the NyQuil. Man, there's a term for that. What is that term when they use NyQuil? What is it called? Like, you know what? I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say that. Just be careful. Don't use too much NyQuil, okay? I know it can be fun, but just be careful. AP for Liberty, we must have the dysgenic dog. Leo is a carrot on the stick. I'm here for the ridiculous dog. Yes. Okay. If you guys can handle it, I do have another story first before we wheel Leo out. So keep bringing in those donations. I may bring him out sooner, but after Dayquil and the Founding Flavors, I'm getting distracted with the chat. My apologies. I'm going to bring in the next story before I get distracted any longer. Let me pull up a commercial here for you guys, and we can proceed forward with the show. The next story is going to be about Trudeau stepping down, and it's kind of a sad situation, but you know what? It had to be done, and I know that a lot of Canadians are celebrating, so I will be right back with that story, and it looks like Leo will be coming out very soon as well.
In our little town, so serene, where the grass is green and air so clean, We gather round the table every night. Joyful days, oh, was I yet, with values passed, with generations past, living life with love that surely lasts. As the city lights look bright, we hold to our roots tight, in our hearts the same old fires, guided by the good old days. Sharing moments with friends always divine. Working hard for what we seek, respecting each word we speak, holding dear to our family ties underneath these nostalgic skies. As the city lights so bright, got too tight, in our hearts the same old fire. Oh yeah, we sway with every change of time, but in our hearts, old love and soul, that baby in our heart, getting like a thought ain't not in this fast-paced world we can fight. Traditions keep our hearts going wild, but you'll find in our hearts in the ways they got it by the good old days.
In the diner sipping soda pop, jukebox tunes that never stop. I see fates print on different scenes, lost the cultures on a different theme. We walk down the same old street, but our stories never meet. Different worlds side by side in this twisting 50s ride.
Okay, we are back to the segments here that I have prepared for you guys. Before I proceed with the next story, I was notified. I didn't get the notification my end on stream, but I was told that Entropy Nomad has gifted me 5 subs, I believe. So I wanted to recognize that. Thank you so much, Entropy. I really do appreciate that. And I will be bringing out Leo very shortly here, so I think you guys are really going to appreciate it. Petita the Cat asked, is there Leo merch? No, not yet, but I am going to make Leo merch. I will look into designing that. I have been considering it. I'm just debating exactly what you guys want. Like, do you guys want mugs? Or canisters, like little coffee canisters, a pillow. I'm still thinking about it. Maybe just a t-shirt, perhaps, or sweatshirts. If you guys want Unleash the Beast merch, let me know what exactly you want to see. Monster Kill. And I will be looking into designing that. But yes, and also Entropy has also realized what I was saying. He said robo-tripping was the word that I was groping for when I was thinking about using NyQuil, but it's with Robitussin. So thank you for clarifying. I didn't know that. I used it. I heard robo-tripping used for like various sleeping medications. So or sleeping medication like NyQuil. So thank you for letting me know. Specifically sleeping medication that has dextromethorphan in it. Barney Styles, very interesting comment. We lick our way through the Hegelian philosophy for that sweet, sticky, chocolatey Leo. Yes, I don't know how to respond to that, but very true, very true. Okay, so before I do bring my dysgenic dog out, I know you guys are all clamoring for the dog. I did want to cover this next story because it is another major development happening here, and it is important to talk about, and it has to do with Canada. So I have so many buttons, you guys. I apologize for taking my time with the transitions here, but here is a video of Canada's leftist Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. And yes, he has resigned. And so we're going to be watching this video here with him. Hang on. There we go. Very sad indeed. We're going to be watching the video here of him resigning. I know he's not officially resigned. They're still in the process of finding a replacement, but let's take a listen at this right here.
Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future.
With his family, of course.
Throughout the course of my career.
Yes, because if anyone is going to just help him decide to step down, it would be his family, nobody else.
Any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
My goodness.
Last night, I asked the president of the Liberal Party to
You can tell that he is fairly uncomfortable delivering this message, especially if you go back and he officially announces it. Hold on.
As party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader. Last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign.
Did you see how comfortable he was? His little shoulders went up.
I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister,
obviously,
after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the president of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
Yeah, well, you know, I know a lot of people are making fun of Trudeau on this one, but hey, at least he has it does take some level of courage to step down, and, you know, I'm sure there's other internal politics that I am or us Americans are unaware of that's involved here. I know a lot of people are saying this is a major Trump win. I myself had said that on Twitter as well, that Trump bullied him out of the position, and Trump's comments may have exacerbated but what he has already been experiencing, Trudeau. But I'm sure there's a plethora of internal politics that we aren't aware of. So regardless of how twisted his arm had to have gotten to resign, at least he is being responsive to the unhappy people of Canada. And clearly, as we have heard for the last several years, is that the people of Canada are certainly not happy with Trudeau, and it's good to see that at least he's being responsive in that. President Trump trolls Trudeau on Truth Social as his government implodes, and this is what I was referring to. The great state of Canada is stunned as the finance minister resigns or was fired from her position by Governor Justin Trudeau. Her behavior was totally toxic and not at all conducive to making deals which are good for the very unhappy citizens of Canada. She will not be missed. So, that's the present situation that we are in here with Canada. Yes, Canada, will it become the 51st state? Or what do you guys think about that? And obviously, Canadians are very excited about this resignation. Canadians are celebrating the resignation of Justin Trudeau, and you can see here. Here's a video. That's what this flag says there. There was a few more videos on this thread that I found interesting. Where is it? Well, here's one video from throwing out the trash. So yeah, there's that development, and here's another one I found it quite entertaining.
I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister. I intend to resign.
The trucker situation that happened in Canada. I still do. I live very close to Canada, actually. So I'm fairly familiar with the goings on in the country. Goings on, I think is what I meant to say. And then we have this post by Trump on Truth Social. Let me read it out to you. The United States has a vested interest in this secure, efficient, and reliable operation of the Panama Canal. This is why I titled this the Manifest Destiny episode. And that was always understood. We would and will never let it fall into the wrong hands. It was not given for the benefit of others, but merely as a token of cooperation with us and Panama. If the principles, both moral and legal, of this magnanimous gesture of giving are not followed, then we will demand that the Panama Canal will be returned to us, in full and without question. To the officials of Panama, please be guided accordingly. This guy... And here is a tweet explaining the translation of this comment, saying, translation, if you don't stop messing around, I'm going to take the canal back and rename it the Trump America Freedom Eagle MAGA Canal. So this is the situation and the political context that we are presently in. Now, like I had mentioned, clearly this is a Manifest Destiny episode, and we're discussing all these developments about him obtaining Greenland, the Panama Canal. I don't think he's going to obtain Canada, despite what some MAGA Trump people, loyalists, will say. I think that's a little bit of a delusion. However, if I'm proven wrong, I'd be glad to be proven wrong. But there's, clearly talk of Canada becoming the 54th state as well. And once again, like I had opened up at the beginning of this stream, it seems to be that Trump is reinvigorating a new spirit of American exceptionalism back into the United States. And that's really what this show is about. And American expansionism is coming back into vogue. And for years, you have been hearing leftist scholars claim that the very concept of expansionism is a toxic and evil one, that it is a very evil aspect of colonialism, and it facilitates evil behaviors. And Trump is showing that, first of all, that's not true. And second of all, it's going to happen anyway. Expansionism is the goal of the United States. It always has been a foundational element of the superpower of what the country is, and he wants to maintain that. And regardless of what you think or feel about that, I do find that quite interesting, actually, because like I said initially, is that me and people of my generation, and perhaps maybe even the previous generation, and for generations that were to come or are to come, like Generation Alpha, this hasn't been a widely understood or accepted concept like it has been so in the past, especially shortly after the American founding. And I think that what Trump is doing here is going to be extremely beneficial for Americans' understanding of what being proud of your nation looks like, what being a patriot looks like, or be patriotic. And and I think that something like reclaiming the Panama Canal is a very positive step forward in doing that. Now, for those of you that are unaware, is that we did lose a Panama Canal for $1 under the purview of Jimmy Carter. And as some of you may have already have known, is that Jimmy Carter has recently passed away at the age of 100. So he's lived a very long and fulfilled life, just a humble peanut farmer from Georgia. And I will say it is difficult to dislike Jimmy Carter because, even though his policies weren't the most effective, clearly, he wasn't a bad guy. So I'm not going to make this a Jimmy Carter hate stream, obviously. But we did lose it under his purview, and we're going to get it back. But still, to give some respect for the recently deceased, we do have this information here, the National Day of Mourning for Jimmy Carter, what it means and what's closed. So just so you guys are aware, he did die, and they are still having the funeral proceedings occur here. Jimmy Carter, the only centenarian ex-president, died on December 29th. Here's what to expect on Thursday. So this is happening on Thursday. A national day of mourning will be observed on Thursday for Jimmy Carter, who has died on December 29th at 100 years old. In a proclamation after Carter's death, President Biden called him a man of character, courage, and compassion. So what's happening? The day of mourning will be held on the same day as Mr. Carter's funeral at Washington National Cathedral. President Biden will deliver a eulogy. That will be interesting, right? President Biden delivering a eulogy. Man, what can we expect there? At the funeral, and the eulogy will be written by Gerald R. Ford, who died in 2006. I completely I thought if he's dead, how can you write the eulogy? But they just said it's previously written. So, will be ready by his son Stephen Ford. Okay, will be read by his son Stephen Ford. American flags of the White House, public buildings, military bases, naval ships, and U.S. embassies around the world have been ordered to be flown at half-staff in honor of Mr. Carter for 30 days following his death. Wow, really? Okay, what is going to be closed? On December 30th, President Biden ordered that all executive departments and agencies of the federal government shall be closed on January 9th. So everyone look forward to that. Expect those necessary for national security, defense, or other public need. Federal employees will still be paid on that day. Of course they will. Why wouldn't they? They're federal employees. The Postal Service will suspend mail delivery, so look forward to that as well, and close post offices, but there will still be limited packaging delivery services, a spokesperson said. So, a little vague there, but you can still have a limited package delivery service. National parks will be generally open, but their administrative offices will also be closed. The New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ will also be closed, as will the United States Supreme Court and other federal courts, along with the Library of Congress. Wonderful. So anyway, that's what you guys can look forward to. And will this be, I'm assuming this will be televised, correct? Obviously, right? Hang on a second. It does not explain. Well, anyway. The life and legacy of Jimmy Carter. Does it say the part where we lose the Panama Canal here? Okay, let's just read this. I'm actually interested. Carving out a new mold for ex-presidents. Jimmy Carter redefined what a president can do after departing from the White House. Okay. Atlanta as a launch pad. While Carter's home was always in the small Georgia town of Plains, Atlanta gave him the opportunities to cement a political and humanitarian legacy. Okay. Yeah, nothing here about losing the Panama Canal, so I guess you can't call that being part of a legacy. What else does it say here? Relationship with successors, losing the South, Habitat for Humanity. Okay. Well, anyway, that's what we can look forward to. So just don't expect any federal services to work on Thursday, but all right, let's take a look at the chat. Wonderful viewership on Rumble. We have $20 from Johnny Idaho. Johnny Idaho, 20 asked for it. I'm going to be bringing Leo out. Now, I do want to clarify a few things before I do that. Thank you so much, Johnny Idaho. I really appreciate that. It goes a long way. It really does. Now, I will do one thing for you guys here. Hold on a second. I cannot multitask, so just bear with me. There we go. Bro, why isn't it? There we go. So I will be bringing Leo out, but I do want to clarify a few things before I do that. Number one, I was going to bring him out before I was going to discuss, what's his name? Andrew Tate, my favorite guy. Andrew Tate, that's ironic. I do not like Andrew Tate. But I was going to talk about Andrew Tate's run for a United Kingdom Prime Minister. And I was going to bring out Leo for that. That's going to be the last segment. But you know what? I'm going to bring him out right now. And what I was going to do is I wanted to look through the Andrew Tate merch shop and have Leo wear clothes resembling Andrew Tate top G aesthetic. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. When I'm going to be bringing Leo out, he's going to be wearing the Andrew Tate aesthetic. Okay, so you guys can look forward to that. All right. This is gonna be top G Leo, all right? So I think you guys are gonna enjoy this. But before I do that, and I'm gonna be bringing him in, I did want to show you something. Okay, and this has to do with the delicious coffee that people have been commenting so much about on my Culturama grift shop. So yes, I will be critiquing the Top G grift shop later on in this stream. We still have another hour or so left, and I might go a little longer depending on how the stream goes. But first, I have to show you my grift shop. So let me show you my grift shop, and it's going to be about coffee because we have a new coffee line that I think you guys are going to enjoy. So let me pull this up for you right now. So here we go. So this is the For Liberty Shop, or the ap4libertyshop.com. If you guys have been watching the commercials, I have had that link on the bottom of one of the panels, all the commercials on the show. But you can find it at the forlibertyshop.com. You look that up and you go to the Culturama collection. It'll be /collections, the Culturama podcast. And if you just go to the homepage, it will be one of the top collections. So if you go to the homepage here, right, and you scroll down, hold on. Or you can actually just type in Culturama. You type in Culturama, and here are the products that support the show directly. As you can see here, we have lovely pillows, we did have Christmas ornaments, a beanie for the Tim Pool fans out there, and also sweatshirts. We have this delightful mug, like I've shown you right here, with, you could see me with the ray gun and the communist zombies as well. And we have face creams. Oh, whoops. And we have face creams also. But what I wanted to highlight today is the Culturama Atomic Bomb coffee. Now, this is top quality coffee. They have just come out, so I'll be getting myself a pack, and I highly implore you to do the same because there's nothing better than atomic coffee to really have that blast in the morning. Okay, I think you really enjoy it. And of course, as a lovely blonde lady in front, clearly that is supposed to be me right there, has that 1950s aesthetic that I know you guys very much appreciate on this show. So only $20, 30-day money-back guarantee. So once again, it is on the forlibertyshop.com /a Culturama collection, or you can go to the search bar on top and you can find, just type in Culturama and you can find the products there. Once again, this is the Culturama Atomic Blonde, or Atomic Bomb Blonde coffee. I'm really excited about this one. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. And also, a nice, neat little feature of the show is that if you do go on, you can spin to win a discount. Up to, looks like here, 20%. So, and you know, if it doesn't work the first time, you can just come back on the site and spin again. So you can get a discount as well. So, I highly encourage you to look that up at the For Liberty Shop, or the ap4libertyshop.com, to get yourself some coffee. You can also be a subscriber, which the coffee will be slightly cheaper here, at $19. And you can save some money with each purchase if you consecutively purchase the coffee every month here, or every other few months, or every few weeks. Also, in relation to coffee, I also wanted to bring up something else. If you want to support the show through a one-time donation as well, or support my personal projects like my Substack, the Dialectic Project, or other projects that I'll be launching online, I also had launched a buymeacoffee.com /Danielle Pensack. I had Patreon. I hate the platform. I hate using the platform. I hate everything about Patreon. So I am not using a Patreon, but I did create a Buy Me a Coffee. So basically you just go on the page and you literally just donate any amount you want. $5. I think like you can even donate as low as $1. I already had, it looks like, a couple donations today. So it's just buymeacoffee.com /Daniela Pensack. And that way you can support the show. You can support my Substack as well. And that way, at least it helps me continuing on my political projects and my cultural related projects online that I'm always juggling. And that goes a long way in supporting me individually as well in my creative projects. So if you really want to feed a starving artist, you could do that. Okay, so I have shilled out everything I could right now, so I really appreciate you guys sitting through that and listening to me. I want to see how much my viewership dropped after that. Okay, not too bad. But So, like I said, you guys have donated and the audience has spoken, so I understand. We will be bringing out Leo a little early on this stream because I know you guys are excited about that. And yes, he will be staying...
Monster kill.
He will be staying throughout the entire stream as long as he can tolerate it. He is a pretty tolerable guy, so I think he'll enjoy the next few stories. And we will be going over Andrew Tate next with Leo dressed as a top G. Are you guys excited about that? Oh man, you're gonna love this. Let's unleash the beast. I'm gonna be right back. This may be a little longer of a commercial because I have to make sure that Leo is okay and willing to come out. So, but I will be right back and we'll be discussing Andrew Tate next.
In the heart they gather strong, pushing back the lefty's throng. With the red banner held high, marching forward through the night. Promises of old will keep, as the donkeys start to weep. Stars and stripes forever sway, in the land of the brave we stay. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down.
With a flagpole planted firm,
golden dreams that won't decay,
marching proudly through the day.
In the eagle's shadow by, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains tall, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we strive, in the light of freedom's guide. We got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down.
In our little town so serene, where the grass is green and air so clean, we gather round the table every night. Joyful days, oh what sight, with values passed from generations past, living life with love that surely lasts. As the city lights look bright, we hold to our roots tight, in our hearts the same fires, guided by the good old days. Sharing moments with friends always divine.
Monster kill. Monster kill. Monster kill.
Okay, we are back on Unleash the Beast. You guys asked for it and you got it. We have Leo here in top G material right here. Here we go. We have the gold chain. We have the gold chain and we have the leather jacket right here. So here he is, everyone. Leo, the top G. Here he is. I did not find any small sunglasses for him, unfortunately, but I might get some for him in the future because I think he'd look really good on them. But I feel like sunglasses would have encapsulated the look. But yes, here's my dysgenic dog. For those that are new to the stream and are unfamiliar, this is Unleash the Beast. Leo the Beast is here. He has been unleashed thanks to your guys' wonderful donations to the stream and your viewership, your consistent viewership. So I very much appreciate that, and Leo appreciates it as well. So we're going to be going over the next story here, which is about Andrew Tate running for United Kingdom Prime Minister. Barney Styles says that Leo is a total alpha. Indeed, he is. And Leo will be sitting through with us, reading these next few developments. That is cold, but not as cold as Top G Leo, Entropy Nomad, indeed. Look at that. Man, this used to fit him a little better in the past, and he has gained a little too much weight here. But, you know, we can get him back down. I tried to find a better gold chain. I couldn't, but let me see if I can twist this around his neck. Leo. That's the best I can do. Sorry, guys. He gained so much weight, but there's more to love, right? Okay. Okay, so, like I said, Leo's going to be sitting with us through these next few stories. So let me get up my next screen here. Alrighty. Alright, so for those that don't know, I live under a rock, I suppose, but Andrew Tate has declared that he'll be running as Prime Minister for the UK. Of course, very valid timing considered that the Pakistani grooming gangs are occurring in the United Kingdom and Northern England, so very fitting that he would announce his run. I really think that he has a Pakistani vote locked in. But I did want to watch the next Prime Minister, everyone. Clearly, he has a very good chance of winning, and I just wanted to show you who Andrew Tate really is, you know? And I think these next few videos kind of gives us a glimpse of that, so let's take a watch here. Next Prime Minister, everybody.
Doing today? Oh, I have to go to work today. Oh, that sounds fun.
Little electric, my little plug. Ooh, let me get my little plug and plug it into my Tesla. Maybe I can get an erection one day.
He has a very comical face.
That's it. Okay.
Mix out. Dipping it in the sauce.
Laugh all you want at him. I mean, this guy does make a lot of money scamming people, so it does take quite a bit of intelligence to do so. But yes, he doesn't come off as like the most intelligent, but I assure you, he would be an adequate Prime Minister, truly.
Isn't that the same thing?
No.
I
see the effort.
He's slowing down so you can keep up.
No. I'm just walking at a normal pace. I'm not even walking fast. Now he's trying to catch up. He's trying to speed it up. It's uphill now.
Alright, so we can also watch this next video, I think. Andrew Tate being his best self within the next 2 minutes here.
Traffic's going this way. The traffic stopped. Traffic, she comes out. Instead of just turning right and going on her way, she comes and just crashes into this car. And I sat there and I thought, how are women allowed to drive?
Let me think of a lie.
It's true, I don't know how they are.
What pisses me off most? You thick fucks. Beer break.
I can tell she thinks she knows things, so I look forward to correcting her. But that's usually how life works. I understand. You're lazy. It's okay.
Only a cat-owning bitch would complain to the police about a fucking joke. Fine, you're upset you lost your cat. Fair enough, yeah, the joke may have been a little bit, you know, risque. Who calls the police on a fucking joke? Cat owners. Cat owners are liberals. Cat owners believe in hate speech. Cat owners are Democrats.
You can be a lazy spiritualist, a lazy Christian, you can be a lazy kickboxer, right? I'm a kickboxer, but I don't train. Okay, bro.
So printers are shit.
Here's my new fucking...
For her.
How many times have you been in an office and a workplace and you just want to do that? I mean, props to him. I wanted to do that many times. Look at that. I wish that were me right now.
For shit.
Here's my new fucking...
Like an ape.
For her, I'll pray for her.
Are you Roman, right?
fucking stupid it didn't cross your mind at some point that permanently sucking on this vape was going to damage you in some way, you deserve what happens to your dumb ass.
One dude, he must have been about 50, got naked, then go on the dance floor and just like start to dance. Just like, yeah. If you want to dance, just why would you get completely naked and just go do your shit?
I hate everyone equally. Don't come at me and call me sexist or racist or any of these things. I hate everyone. I don't care if you're black, white, straight, gay, man, and woman. I hate you anyway. Hey, yeah. I ain't ready for the big man slap. I got a big hand. I'll bust their jaw with the bottom of my hand, and the top of their head will feel the sting from the fingers, like the whole.
Not only am I thorough an individual, I'm also rich, 6'4", sexy as fuck.
Would be solved if females walked through life with their body count on their forehead.
Little electric, my little plug. Ooh, let me get my little plug and plug it into my...
Leo, do you agree with the body count scenario?
Tesla. Maybe I can get an erection one day.
For those that weren't listening, he said that women should have their body count on their foreheads. I think that's a very sane policy position. I really do.
All we have to do is start putting numbers on girls' foreheads. We could fix everything.
I know you said money isn't real, but I am getting fucked.
For me.
So anyway, that is Andrew Tate. That's a quick introduction for who he is for those that are the uninitiated. Leo, I'm going to take his jacket off because I think he's a little hot. My boy. Okay, there we go, buddy. We can put that aside. Yeah, it's warm. But we're going to keep the golden chain on. Okay. Oh, hold on a second. I got to make sure my wardrobe isn't malfunctioning either. Okay. As promised, Leo will stay on the screen here, but let me double check the chat here. Make sure we're not behind at anything. No donations I'm behind on. Whoops. We do not want that playing. Okay. Moving on. So Andrew Tate heard that the British government was involved in the rape of British girls, and look how fast he came running. And this is entirely true. Like I said, I do believe that Andrew Tate has the Pakistani vote on lock for this election, and I wish him the best on that. But it is rather interesting that he's announcing this in the height of essentially rape scandals or grooming scandals. Perhaps he's doing it, maybe the timing is just right there, but very fitting for a Muslim man to, I do believe he's still Muslim, correct? It's very fitting for a Muslim man to want to run for the UK Prime Minister. It makes complete sense. But we also have, for those that don't know, that the Romanian police are still investigating Andrew Tate for human trafficking allegations. Now, I do want to reiterate that this man, having investigations done on him, has had his home raided already multiple times, did go to jail there in Romania, and in the past he has actually said publicly that the reason why he moved to, or one of the reasons why he moved to Romania was because of the consent laws, and the age of consent laws as well, in that country, and how they are typically a little bit more loose. The police and law enforcement there aren't as strident as it relates to consent laws in Romania. So, given being that said, it is interesting that he is deciding to take this next leap in his professional career. But you know what, he may have it on lock. Perhaps, seeing that there are grooming gangs occurring at a very frequent rate, and rapes are occurring at a very frequent rate in the UK, it also would make more sense as to why Andrew would want to run for this position. So it says, this article states that internet personality Andrew Tate's home near Bucharest was raided by law enforcement on Wednesday. A Reuters witness said, as Romanian police launched 4 searches and investigation into crimes, including human trafficking and sex with a minor. Okay, so I just want to read this and give you the entire context of what's happening here. as we discuss this a very powerful man, very powerful, metaphysically, spiritually, intellectually, internet personality, yeah, it just says here, a self-described misogynist, social media influencer, Tate has gained millions of fans by promoting an ultra-masculine lifestyle that critics say denigrates women, whatever. He has already indicted, hold on, my dog's really heavy, here we go. He was already indicted in mid-2023 along with his brother Tristan and 2 Romanian female suspects for human trafficking, rape, and forming a criminal gang to sexually exploit women, allegations they all denied. A photographer working for Reuters who was outside Tate's home said about a dozen masked law enforcement officers had entered the property before escorting Tate out of the house to a car. Anything to put me in jail except to give me a trial. No trial, no judge. This country is crazy, Tate told reporters as he was taken to the car. He was not wearing handcuffs. So, yeah, I don't need to read the entire article to give you the full picture here, but we are dealing with a man, regardless of whether or not you think these allegations are completely legitimate or valid or not. This is a man that has an extensive history, an extensive criminal record, specifically regarding human trafficking. And so therefore, granted it's being done in a different country, I still think that would mar your reputation just a bit to run for a position like a PM. But you know what? He should have the freedom to do so, and we should let people decide his fate in that run. And I have no doubt that he is going to be exceptionally successful in his run, once again, considering the circumstances that the UK has been facing. For those that don't know, and this is a little bit serious of a tangent, so bear with me here, but it is important to talk about. But the United Kingdom, especially parts of Rotherham, a countryside town in northern England, and the surrounding area has been having a serious issue of grooming gangs from Pakistani migrants and men of South Asian descent come into their country, and a lot of these people are migrants, come into the country and set up networks of grooming gangs, essentially. And they have been sexually assaulting and raping young girls of that region. And a lot of these men are Muslim, and a lot of these men have discussed how they are targeting white girls specifically. And so, I've talked about this in the previous stream last week, and it was rather dark and chilling, but it was important to discuss because when Elon Musk brought attention to this last week, everyone was talking about it, everyone is still talking about it. But what's important so it is out in the open, but what's important to recognize is that this has been going on for over a decade, these grooming gangs. And you might ask yourself, why hasn't law enforcement stepped in? And in the last stream, you can go back and watch, but we go over evidence where reports have suggested that and showed directly that the law enforcement of that area and of those towns would specifically not investigate or would botch investigations because for very wild reasons. And those being that the law enforcement does not want to cause a ruckus because they don't want to appear racist, because as it come out, perpetrator after perpetrator after perpetrator was of Pakistani heritage. And if you don't believe me, you can go back and watch the stream. You can also look it up yourself. I don't want to be that guy, but I will say you can do your own research and see for yourself, because I don't have the information set up on this stream right now because I already talked about it. But if you look it up, if you look into the cases, even you can go on Wikipedia and read about it. But they do state in reports, and multiple reports have stated that law enforcement just did not step in. They dropped the case, they ignored the case only because of that. And it is infuriating that that's happening, and that this agenda, this anti-racist agenda, which, for all intents and purposes is the right idea, but it's gone to a point where we're not even protecting the most vulnerable of society. because they don't want to look a certain way. And obviously, I want to provide context here if you're unaware of what the grooming gang situation was, and that's where we're at right now. And this is why it is so interesting that he is deciding to run concerning his reputation, Andrew Tate's reputation in Romania, and what the investigations have been yielding, and in context of what's happening in England. Okay, so this article has a video of a girl, well, a woman actually, a young woman, describe her experience with Andrew Tate and how he basically raped her. I don't know if I can say that word on this stream. I already have multiple times, so it's too late. But I just hope it's not dampening my viewership. So if you are watching this stream on Twitter, please like and share so more people can see it. And I want to up my numbers on Twitter, so please like and share if you're watching this, because we are covering hard-hitting topics. But let's watch this video. It's a little dark, but again, I think it provides the entire context. Because it's one thing, I can sit here and just laugh about this. It is a bit funny that Andrew Tate is running. But there is also another aspect or another element to the story that I think is very prescient and important to discuss, and very significant to what Europe should do and what the UK should do specifically about this. Let's watch this video. Here we go.
Just looked up at the ceiling. And
Again, this is a young woman's testimony about how Andrew Tate has treated her when she was with him in Romania.
I remember thinking, this is weird. Yeah, and he said, I'm just debating whether I should rape you or not. Out of the blue, he just got up, grabbed me by the throat, smashed me to the back of the bed, strangling me extremely hard. And by the way, I want to clarify, this is all alleged. I understand that there is still an investigation going on. We do not know for certain what has happened here in the past with Andrew Tate in Romania, whether or not human trafficking has already occurred. I have my suspicions personally, and, up front, I'm just going to be real with you guys. I think he did some things like that down there, considering that he had stated that that's one of the reasons why he wanted to move to Romania. But that is, at the end of the day, my opinion. If I'm proven wrong, if I continually get proven wrong, I have no qualms with saying that I'm wrong. And that Andrew Tate really is the supreme top G, and he's a great guy. But this is just a testimony, and it relates to what's been occurring in the UK. But again, just to clarify, these are still investigations happening, and I'm not going to say that he is 100% guilty of this, and this woman could very well be lying here. But watching this video, as I did last night, it reminded me a lot of the testimonies of the young girls that have been raped by the Pakistani men and the grooming gangs. It comes off very similarly, so I just figured we'd watch this. He's telling me to take my trousers off, and I'm refusing, and I'm like, no, Andrew, you said you wouldn't. And he's getting more and more angry at me, strangling me, hurling abuse at me, threatening me. Went straight home, got in the bath, started to cry. It was hard for me because I tried to block all that memory out of my brain.
Very sad situation.
It upsets me too much.
I've heard people say that, these girls, they chose to go down there and chose to be part of whatever that was, a compound. So even if they were, potentially raped or abused, they stayed there, and Tate has said this himself. He said that, look, those women chose to live there, and he claims that he was not forcing to keep them there, and that very well could be true. Still, considering the context of the situation, we don't know if they've been completely manipulated to be there. Psychological manipulation and abuse is a thing, but you could still claim that these women, out of their own volition, they decided to be there. Yes, that is true. However, it's still very unnerving that there are investigations still being done on this. There is this text right here saying that Andrew Tate, admitting, I suppose, or saying that he has raped this individual. Again, knowing how legitimate this is, we don't know, but I do want to diverge a little bit from the darkness of this topic to back to his run, and in tandem with Andrew Tate stating that he is running for prime minister. He also has started a new party. It is called the Yes Bruv Party. The Britain Restoring Underlying Values Party is what it is called. And, hold on a second. I need to turn something off here. Give me 1 minute. Okay, I do not want to malfunction on stream, so... Okay. So yes, the Britain Restoring Underlying Values Party is what it's called, and it is to restore once again Great Britain. As leader, I am held fully accountable, says Andrew Tate. So the charter is down below. We can take a look at that right here at the votebruv.co.uk. Let's take a look. Okay, Britain Restoring Underlying Values. So this is a party page, and so far you have the Tate logo here with the knight chess piece. For those that don't know, Andrew Tate's father was a chess player, a quite successful one. But here is what they say. The Bruv Party. This is a war to reclaim Britain. No excuses, no compromises, no second chances. How you doing, Leo? You have something to say? You want to say it to the stream? No? Okay, so just behave then. We will defend our borders, crush crime, purge corruption, and restore pride to a nation under siege. Britain will rise again, stronger, unyielding, unapologetic. If you want safety, power, and freedom, join the fight. The time for talk is over. It's action or nothing. So, these are the core values of the party. Let's take a look. And it goes to... I looked through this last night, okay? And so I went... This is not exactly the Bruv Party page. It redirects to Tate's own personal page, cobratate.com. And these are the 41 tenets of power. The 41 laws of power proposed by Andrew Tate. And I thought it would be rather interesting to go over them with you guys. Let me double check in the chat before we do, just to make sure everything... Just to make sure I didn't piss too many people off in the chat here with my Tate comments. Okay, let's see here. Nomad Johnny, if he speaks his mind. Okay, looks like we have a Tate supporter here, no problem. One of the same things people like about Trump, he speaks his mind. Yes, that is very true. Actually, we will be going over the tenets here in a second. But it looks like Nomad Johnny's a little irked. And you know what? Like I said, very well could be all false. All the allegations posed against him could be all false. And if that comes out one day, you know, I will eat my words. I'm just saying, considering that some of the things that Andrew Tate has done in the past or said in the past makes me think that he's not all there, or the most honest individual. But okay, it looks like you don't have any new donations, so that's good. I hope I'm not missing any gifted subs. I don't get notified for those for some reason. Hopefully I will fix that. Johnny Idaho says, in the end, Tate is just another grifter. Yeah, exactly. Well, all internet personalities really are grifters to an extent, and that's what he has to do to be successful. But as we'll take a look here in a second, he is a bit of a grifter, yes, in terms of how his website is set up. Leo, please behave, my boy. My boy. Okay. So, these are the 41 tenets for Tate. I hate this thing that pops up in the corner here. It's like these fake accounts that buy coffee. Let's take a listen. Or not buy coffee. I was projecting there for a second. It says here like, Charlie C. from the UK bought the Matrix book or whatever he's written. Break from the Matrix book. So that's going to happen. Forgive me if I get distracted. I do have ADHD. But let's proceed with the 41 tenets of power from Andrew Tate. I'm going to go through each and every one of these. So bear with me, but I do think it's important to show where Andrew Tate is really coming from. And Leo's going to sit here and go over each and every one of them with you guys here today, right, Leo? Okay. Tenet number 1. I believe that men have the divine imperative to become as capable as capable, powerful, and competent as possible in this life. Okay, that's the first tenet. Wonderful. See, that's what I'm talking about. See this in the corner here? Number 2, I reserve the human right to hold my own beliefs and practice them as I see fit, and allow all other people of the same right to believe and act as they wish. As I was going through these last night, I went through all 41 last night, by the way. I want to make sure everything's kosher. It just came to me that a lot of these are just positive affirmations. And I think positive affirmations are great. These are like the male version of that. So this is what you're all in for. Rule number 3, I prefer loving, rewarding, consensual relationships with beautiful, positive, and virtuous women. Consensual indeed. Number 4, I believe men and women are different and that each has their own unique and important strengths and abilities. That's fair. I like that one. I think that's a good one. Number 5, I believe men have the sacred duty to protect and provide for the important people of their lives. Also very good. I like that. Okay, here's a long one. Number 6. I believe men have the sacred duty to protect the innocence and sanctity of their children and reserve the right and responsibility to raise their children as they see best to ensure their long-term happiness and success. That's fair. Gotta protect your progeny. Tenet number 7. I believe that men have the sacred duty to raise strong and capable and honorable sons. And then tenet number 8, same thing with daughters. I believe that men have the sacred duty to raise kind, feminine, and virtuous daughters. Tenet number 9. I utterly disapprove of violence with romantic or familial relationships. Considering the video that we have just watched, I don't know how true that is, but at least he's saying it up front that he is it's very interesting how he's playing cover, like only consensual relationships and no violence. I like that. Number 10, I support good and honest governments, and I will obey only their laws. I like this one, okay? Especially what we are looking at with the Romania investigations. He says he will obey laws, but only if they are perceived as good and honest. So perhaps for whatever was happening in Romania, he may have not perceived them as being wholly good or wholly honest. So perhaps he is completely justified in the potential crimes that he has conducted. Also, wonderful picture here with the blue jacket. Very nice. Number 11, I prefer to only conduct business dealings with trusted and vetted brothers. Okay, that's fair. That's a good tip to have. I believe that a man has a sacred duty to hold true to his word and do exactly what he says he will do. Not bad. I believe that a man's life is difficult and he has a sacred duty to become strong to handle such difficulty. Very good pose right here, very powerful. I do like the skin suit tie jacket where you can see his arms. Not as impressively large, but still tight enough where you can see the indentation. I really do appreciate that. And the posture of the hands, it looks like when you do mantras, you have a specific hand position that looks like what he's doing. Very interesting. I wonder, he probably does meditation, so. Okay. Number 14. I believe men are personally responsible for their actions and for the results they achieve in their lives. Kind of a goofy picture in this one, but I appreciate the sentiment. Number 15. I believe in emotional control and the vital need to become disciplined and professional in all things. Do you really think that Tate is emotionally controlled, considering some of the videos we saw here? Clearly, this guy is a paragon of emotional discipline. Tenet number 16. I believe that men have the sacred duty to approach everything in life from a position of strength. He looks kind of like a chimpanzee here, with a smile. A little intimidating, but good to see him happy. And clearly coming from a position of strength right here. Okay, number 17. Also, by the way, epic picture. He has a pit bull or whatever breed of dog that is. The MAGA hat. Sick. I believe that all men have the sacred duty to become men of upright and virtuous character and live above all possible reproach. And so this is where we're entering the section where he is at number 17, right? He has exhausted through every virtuous point that he can make. And from here on out, you're going to start to see a lot of repetition in a lot of the things he said, because I think he's trying to get 41 for a purpose, for a specific reason, but he has run out of ideas. So what you're going to start to see is a lot of repetition here. So just bear with us. Number 18. I believe it is incumbent upon me to ruthlessly identify my own weaknesses and limitations, and I eagerly work to overcome them and become more capable in all realms. 19. I seek to improve my personal freedom, to think, act, and live true to my masculine imperative in all ways. This is what I mean. Like, I feel like we already covered this like 3 times already. But you know what? You know what they say? Repetition is the best teacher. So maybe he has a strategy here. Number 20. I believe each man has a sacred duty to mold his physical body into the strongest and more resilient and most capable version of himself. Very telling picture. I think it is very context dependent and it goes very far here. Clearly he's showing off the person he has sculpted. Good for him. His head does look a little too small, I feel like, for the rest of the body, but that could just be me. Number 21. I believe that men have the sacred duty to I can't speak. English is my second language. To rigorously train themselves both physically and mentally every day. All right, you know what? I feel like this is repetition, bro, but I get what you're doing here. 41 is a key number here. Number 22. We're only halfway through. I believe that I have the sacred duty to only eat the highest quality foods possible to maintain my health, vitality, and masculine virility. I like this one. It's unique. Makes sense. Kind of relates to the last 3. Leo, are you okay, bub? Are you okay, Bubba? Yeah, you're good. Come on. I'm going to put him on. Leo's getting a little antsy. Number 23. I reserve the right to protect the sanctity of my bloodstream and make my own decisions about medical care and procedures. Fair. Also unique. Good for him. 24. I affirm the importance of endlessly improving my mental faculties through diligent work, study, and practice. Okay. Again, discipline is going to be is a recurring theme, I feel like, but I understand where he's coming from. 25. I believe in acquiring wealth and abundance in order to improve my life and do good for those I care about. This kind of reminds me of, as a female that frequents Pinterest a lot, this feels to me like those positive affirmation posts. And maybe since my viewership is primarily male, you guys may not know what I'm aware of. This is more of like a woman thing, but you'll have a lot of positive affirmation posts with like an illustration and the quotation along with the post. And they will say like, I'm beautiful, I'm happy. I am ready to receive abundance. I'm going to be wealthy one day. I'm wealthy now. Like positive, you know what I mean? Positive affirmations. I feel like this is kind of what this is. And this is a vibe I'm getting from this. But positive affirmations are a good thing. Okay, just because women do it doesn't mean it's bad. So I like how he's doing it, but in a masculine way. I appreciate that. Spreading the good message there. Number 26. I believe in the merits of healthy competition and constantly encourage all men to seek out competition to improve themselves. Pertinent picture, very good. Number 27. I believe that masculine brotherhood is essential to men's mental health, happiness, and success, and I relentlessly encourage men to meet together, train together, and work together. All heterosexual men as well. Good for him. No, it's good to have friendships, of course. Number 28. I maintain the trust of my brothers through reverence, silence regarding our most sacred shared experiences. This one is very interesting. So I guess what he's saying here is that, you know, you need to trust your brethren, your friends, your male friends, into maintaining an oath of silence about the dealings of what you are participating in. And, you know, that sounds rather interesting. I would like to know more context, but maybe I'm just not supposed to be privy to that information. Interesting rule, number 28. I want you to think about that one, especially as it relates to the last one, but, you know, still, you should be able to trust your friends. Number 29. Hard picture, by the way. Look at that. Hard picture. I believe in honoring my ancestors and living in a way that would make them proud of me today. Fair. We're almost done. Number 30. I reserve the right to administer difficult rites of passage for young men to allow them to earn the rank of manhood. Also, interesting picture to include in this one. He's talking about rites of passage for young men. Again, rites of passages are rather interesting all throughout culture and does have a place in society. Does have a place in the development of the young mind. Don't know what this picture has to do with that, with him in his underwear here, but I once again, as I'll reiterate, I appreciate the sentiment. 31. I affirm the importance and need of travel and adventure as men. Only men can travel in Andrew Tate's universe. 32. I seek to help men overcome poor mental health. Again, he said this like 3 times already with the mental health. Male mental health issues are a very important and significant issue to talk about. So I understand where he's coming from. But if you're going to make individual tenets, please do not repeat them in different ways. 32. I seek to help men overcome poor mental health through embracing hard work and physical improvements and a shared masculine brotherhood. I feel like we already said that like 5 times now. 33. The number of initiation. I reserve the right to make the best choices I can at the time to protect my self-respect and mental health. Once again, I feel like we already said this like 7 times. 34. I do good in the world and seek to help those less fortunate than myself. Okay, fair. The golden rule. 35. I believe all men have the responsibility to lead and guide those they care for to greater health, prosperity, and happiness. Okay. Leadership, very important. Positive leadership. Clearly, Andrew Tate is a very positive role model. 36. I choose to only interact with those who are respectful and civil in return for my own respect and civility. He only wants to be with people who are polite. Fair. Completely understand. And then we have the next tenet here. 37. I reserve the freedom to speak and refer to others as I believe it is best and most truthful. So, what he's saying here is that he wants to talk to you in any way he wants to. If he wants to be kind of an asshole about it, he will be a kind of an asshole about it. But he will only interact with people that are not toxic and are very civil with him. So, it is code of friendship. I just find these two kind of interesting that they're paired together like that. I think it's funny. 38. I reserve the right to choose my company and include only those whom I believe are best for my health, happiness, and success. We've said this like 8 times, okay? I don't remember the tenet number, but I feel like we said this like 8 times already. Okay, are we almost done here? We have 3 more. 39. I believe I have an imperative to only spend my time in a way that I determine is beneficial, uplifting, and empowering to myself and others. At this point, it's just like gobbledygook. I don't think it makes any sense anymore. These aren't defined lines anymore. We're reaching a state where, sort of like the leftists, they use the words in a repetitive format to kind of blur the lines between reality and non-reality, and it just starts to become confusing. At this point, I am already tired reading through all of these, and I just want to go home, and this is why the last few are so weak, I feel like. Number 40. I choose to only allow myself to be influenced by those who I believe have my best interests in mind. Fair. Number 41, the last one. I think that encapsulates the entirety of this. Each day, I dedicate myself anew to create the greatest possible positive impact in the world and to do the work necessary to achieve a greater masculine excellence across all realms of human endeavor. So, those are the 41 tenets. And before we leave this section of the stream today, I do want to share with you guys the grift shop, the Top G grift shop. It requires me to put in my email address. Now, apparently, I was looking through this page last night, and I could do this without this thing. But now it's requiring me to put in my data, and the last thing I want to do is to provide them data so I can get spam emails. So I will be ignoring that. But I just want to show you guys in the background here. Look at this grift shop. Isn't it nice? For only for $297, you can get this wonderful sterling silver necklace with a Top G logo. By the way, you can wear in the gym, and this is why I brought Leo out in the leather jacket, because look at this sick jacket. Oh, the pop-up went away. Look at this sick jacket. Imagine going to the gym wearing this with a medallion, and also wear the shorts. I found shorts here. Oh, these gym shorts. Golden Storm gym shorts. Don't you guys want these Golden Storm gym shorts? Once again, for only $100. Easy money. Okay. Yeah, I was looking through this and I was very pleased with what I was seeing. I was tempted to buy a few things, but since I am trying to save money, I decided not to. Also, this is literally an amulet you can find on his webpage. So it has the logo on it, and on the back it has this inscription that he uses. He basically took out a thesaurus and engraved like the most complicated words imaginable to put on the back of this amulet right here. But it has a positive affirmation in the back, and this is why I call it an amulet. You can wear it at the gym, at work, wherever, on your date, wherever it is that you're going. Not human trafficking, of course, just on a date. And you have this inscription in the back with the Top G logo and let me just read it out to you. My unmatched perspicacity, coupled with my sheer indefatigability, makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. And it has some number in the bottom. So this dog tag, again, pulling out the most complicated words imaginable to illustrate the point that you are an unstoppable force. In a way, Andrew Tate is a little bit is a beautiful situation. Him and his brand is beautiful because nowhere else could I get such a campy illustration of what modern masculinity is perceived to be. Those dog tags won't work on Leo, says Johnny Idaho. True. Leo doesn't need the Top G stuff. I know he's wearing the Top G. He had the Top G look. He doesn't need it. He's a very strong individual in his own right. I'm Entropy Nomad. I'm looking for a Sonnet Shoe talisman. I hear that brings great luck. Yeah, they're also. I don't know if Chris Chan is actually making them anymore. I've heard he's not doing so well. Financially, so he may, as everyone has been saying for years, he needs to start like putting out those amulets, because the guy is like, he can't even afford a dentist right now. I think recently he made a post about him having like his teeth fall out, and he's like begging for his donors or his fans to donate money so he can actually afford a dentist. And it's like, buddy, you're the most chronicalized man in all of human history, I'm pretty sure, at least in all of online history. You can easily make a few more of those talisman or amulets, whatever you want to call them. The Sonnet Shoe ones. You can write a few more comics. You can sell them for a couple $100. There are people out there that will buy it, that want to burn money and support his work. Even well, I guess their name is Christine now, isn't it? My apologies. But yeah, I don't know what's wrong with him and why he's not doing it. He needs to sell more of those things. Maybe he still is. I don't know. But I know he's doing live streams and he's been complaining about not making enough money. But I would never do that to you guys. Clearly, I'm rolling in the dough with your donations. I've noticed that the donations have slowed ever since Leo has come out. So you don't put out the milk too soon, right? What's the saying? What is the saying again? With the cow and the milk. I don't even remember it. Why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free? Is that how it goes? Yeah, that's basically what we're dealing with here. Tangent unlocked. Entropy Nomad. Yeah, that's the thing. If you get me speaking about, if you start talking about Chris Chan, I can talk about it for hours. I actually watched like all of those. There's someone out there, I forgot the name of the YouTube channel, but they literally have like a series chronicling his entire life. And I haven't watched all of it, but I wouldn't consider myself a Christorian. But I guess technically I would be counted as that because I have watched those videos. I did like my own research on Chris Chan. and for those that don't know who Chris Chen is, you don't want to know. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna say anything. You do not want to know who he is. I don't mean it in a bad way. It's so convoluted and complicated. You will not make it out the same person. As soon as you choose to look up who is Kristen Weston Chandler, and you want to research him just a little bit, you will not make it out the same person as you went in. That's what happened to me. That's what happens to everyone who embarks on this journey. And notice, whenever you bring up CWC, Kristen Weston Chandler, Chris Chan, if you bring up to anyone that knows him in the public, you will always get the same response. It will be like a long, disappointed sigh and a shiver down their spine because of the individual that we are dealing with here. Row House, does Daniela answer rants during these? Yes, I can answer rants. Please send them in. I will answer them. Barney Styles, $5. Where's my sound effect? $5 from Barney Styles. Leo for Canadian Prime Minister. You're right. Leo would make a far more exceptional prime minister than I think Andrew Tate would. So wonderful, yes. Row House, and thank you, Barney Styles, so much. I really appreciate that. Row House, yeah, go ahead and send one. Hopefully it'll come in. Rumble sometimes glitches out on me, but if you send in a Rumble rant, I will see it and I can answer your questions. Okay, we do have some. I did have another story for you guys, but I can send in, you know what, I can stay on a little longer today if you guys are willing to sit in with me and cover the last story. I have nowhere else to be tonight, and I figured that we can stay in a little longer here because I did have this other story with Viktor Orban I wanted to talk about that I think is also important. Let me pull those up as you guys are sending in the chat. Row House, if you wanted to send in the chat, you can. I'm not receiving it, but no pressure. You don't have to. But to answer your question, I will read your comments if you send it in. Also, since I have like a little more free time now, I can do that. Grizz Cheese. Chris Chan sounds very familiar, but never watched his stuff, and I can't remember anything about him. Grizz, you don't want to look him up. I'm just going to let you know. You don't want to look him up. Okay, Row House, $5. Thank you so much for the $5, Row House. Daniela, our impression of Joseph Cotto and his style. He comes across as serious to me, not entertaining and serious and smart. Your view. Daniela, our impression of Joseph Cotto. Okay, so those that don't know who Joseph Cotto is, let me pull up for context the tweet. I will answer your question in a second, Row House. I do want to pull up the tweet so people know what it is you're talking about. Okay? But for those that don't know, I was on an interview last night with an individual named Joseph Cotto, and it was a very stellar interview. I recommend that you look into it and watch it if you have some free time. Oh dear, where is it? Here it is. Okay. So here's a tweet with Daniela Pensack on where Trump stands with white women and much more. We talked about the female college vote and the white college vote for Trump and how college-educated women didn't come out to support Trump and why he's so unpopular with that particular demographic. And so we discussed that on this individual's show. And this man's name is Dr. Joseph Ford Cotto, a very esteemed and accomplished writer. And he does a lot of political commentary on his show. And if you're interested in his show, it is called News Site, and this is his Twitter page. Dr. Joseph Ford Cotto. And by the way, this is actually a very good plug because I will be bringing him on this show this coming Thursday. So if you guys are interested for that interview, please make sure to tune in. We will be interviewing him on various topics. But this was our interview, and if you guys want to watch it, it did get quite a bit of viewership on Twitter. It's about an hour long, but I think it was a very interesting discussion. So this is the individual that we're talking about. Also, he's a baron for Rwanda, I think, or was knighted by an official in Rwanda. I want to ask him about that on the show, actually. Very interesting figure, Joseph Cotto. So this is what they're asking about. And so, Rowhouse, to answer your question, what is my impression of Joseph Cotto and his interview style? He came across as serious, not entertaining, but serious and smart. Your view? I actually found him quite entertaining. I very much enjoyed the conversation. Yes, it is a bit serious, and you know what? You don't find a lot of that these days on podcasts, especially, or on streaming shows. And it was a bit of a breath of fresh air because, myself included, a lot of streamers and podcast people, they like to have the bells and whistles. They like to make it fun and entertaining. And Joseph's style is very unique and that it's to the point. And I think it's, the guy obviously knows his numbers. He's very knowledgeable and is very clear and precise. And I actually enjoyed my time on that show. I think we covered a lot. And for those that are interested, I encourage you to go watch the stream and, decide for yourself. But I actually did like his style, and I liked how, he didn't go over time. He kept to the point. I appreciated that. He is very smart. Yes. Serious and very smart. He knows his numbers very well. So in terms of like the polling, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a pollster himself. So I enjoyed our interview. And his style is unique, but I like it. I will watch his show news. So I actually appreciate it. He had Paul Gottfried on actually as well, which I wanted to watch that interview. Whitey White 14, his stream and his look used to be like it was sent to the future from 1980. Yeah, I get that vibe too. I feel like literally this guy's aesthetic is very retro. Like it has that 90s, early 90s, late 80s. You know what I mean? It's more like early 90s aesthetic. Again, just to show you guys, like news site, very much to the point here. Yeah, that's his stream right here. This is the guy we're talking about. He also has a Buy Me a Coffee as well, by the way, if you guys wanted to support him. But it even has like that fade filter that kind of makes it look vintage, you know what I mean? It does kind of have like that late 80s, early 90s aesthetic, yes. You took the words right out of my mouth. And we were on the show, I was on a show, we were talking about the aesthetic of... Leo, stop! My goodness. We were talking about the aesthetic of Culturama and how it's 1950s themed, and the importance of aesthetic. But the guy has his own aesthetic. I gotta admit it to him. Like, it's very subtle, but it's there, and I like it. I think it's a breath of fresh air. And for those that don't watch his stuff, watch for yourself. That was his Twitter. So again, it's Joseph Cotto. I watched a lot of Cotto over the years, enjoyed him when Godfather was on. Yeah, The Godfather. I still have to watch that interview, but I appreciate that you had him on. And I think they co-hosted together for some time. Yes, Row House. He used to do a show with Paul Gottfried. I read that comment. Yeah, impressive that he could get Paul in on that. Anyway. Okay, I will be right back. I have one more story for you guys that I want to cover. Keep sending in the donations. If we keep sending in donations, I will obviously stay on longer for you if you're entertained. If you're not entertained, then tell me why in the comments. And I think Leo is getting a little tired here, so I may have to put him to bed. What do you guys think? Leo, he's basically naked. I apologize, but here's a necklace just to give you a last show of him. My dysgenic dog, he is sort of like one of those circus freaks. Remember in the good old days when we used to have circus freaks? We don't even have circuses anymore. It's a shame. We live in a different type of circus now. But back in the day when we used to have circuses, you used to have this thing called freaks. And we don't have that pleasure anymore. So I feel like bringing Leo on the show alludes to or harkens back to a time in our genetic memory which we are entertained by viewing something that is basically a conglomeration of everything that is wrong with nature. Some would even say he is he is an affront to the beauty of nature. But I think he's just great. What do you guys think? Anyway, I love you, buddy. I will be right back. I will be putting Leo aside to bed. I will tuck him in, and I will pull up a couple more stories and then maybe wind it down. But I think we had a very good show today, and I think we have decent viewership. I wish I had more on Twitter, so if you guys can, please like and share the stream so we can get more viewership on Twitter. I don't know what it is about Twitter. It ebbs and flows. Some days I'll get over 1,000 to 2,000 views. Other days I'll get under 500, and that's unfortunate. So if you are on Twitter, if you have a Twitter account, please retweet it so we can get more viewership. And these next few stories, I think are also very significant to cover. And I will be sure to wind it down when the time is appropriate. Also, Whitey White wrote, "He's cute, but definitely put him on a diet. My mother's Dachshund died from heart disease at 8 from being overweight for too long. Just a thought, could be wrong about him." I know Whitey White. Believe me, I've tried for literally like all of his life. Leo's, a little bit of lore on Leo is that he has a condition, a hormonal condition that essentially has him gain weight quite easily. We think it's hormonal, or it could be thyroid, but basically he has been fixed too early in life, and that has caused a lot of deficiencies and problems with him as well. Also, in tandem with that, he is rather inbred. I've done a DNA test for him a couple years ago, and it turns out that he has 3 generations inbred. And once I found out, that explained a lot. And so, but I have been putting him on multiple diets. I have recently just found out a few months ago that he's actually severely allergic to chicken. So we have stopped feeding him chicken. He stopped shedding as much. But we are trying to do a little bit of a calorie deficit going on. And he is kind of fully fed right now, so he does look a little round. But that's just because he has just eaten. But he is fairly good-natured, and he's not too yappy. He doesn't bite. My other Chihuahua bites, not this one. My other Chihuahua, his name is Louie. And I don't bring him on because, first of all, he's not genetically inbred. I mean, he's not inbred, he's not a genetic failure, but he also has, like, mental issues because he is, I adopted him from the shelter, and maybe one day I'll bring Louie on. I think I brought him on one stream, one of my earlier streams, but he hates being on camera. He doesn't hate me, he just doesn't like to be, like, roughhoused, you know what I mean? Leo's good at that, and that's why he's so good-natured. I saw someone else write something I wanted to answer. Someone asked for a hashtag. Barney Styles, you need a good hashtag to spread the word on X. You could use hashtag Culturama. I use hashtag Unleash the Beast for my Leo parts, for my Leo reels or videos. So always use hashtag Unleash the Beast if it has to do with Leo. But anyway. Barney Styles, all Chihuahuas have mental issues. This is true, actually. They're very neurotic. Interesting fact, actually. Did you know that Chihuahuas are extremely neotenized creatures? For those that don't know what neoteny... Hold on, You just started off another tangent here, Barney. Hang on a second. I'm about to blow your mind here. What's a good... Here we go. So if you just look... Well, that's not what I meant to do. This one. Okay. So neoteny essentially is retaining features that make you look more youthful. So here's a little chart here of what neoteny may look like in humans. You have a larger head and a smaller body. Also with faces, you can have like larger eyes, and smaller mouth, like smaller features and large eyes. It also exhibits neoteny in humans. And this person at the very end is an individual that is not neotenized because they have very mature features. Very mature, also considered predatory features in humans would be like narrow eyes, high cheekbones, and neoteny would obviously have more of the bigger eyes, rounder features, more babyish features. And so when I say the term neoteny, what I mean is a person or a creature that retains very youthful features for the duration of their life, as opposed to just maturing and losing those features. So when I say that Chihuahuas are neotenized dogs, what I mean to say is that Chihuahuas are bred to look a specific way. Obviously, they were bred to look smaller in stature, have larger heads and bigger eyes. And after generations of breeding, they actually comes from a dog called the Techichi, I believe, which is a precursor to what the Chihuahua is. And those dogs are very much larger, and they can be found in Central America. And over the years, we have genetically bred them to retain more neotenized features, like bigger eyes, rounder heads, smaller bodies, okay? And interestingly, what we have found is that when you breed an animal over generations to retain neotenized features, what occurs is that you retain neotenized features in the brain as well. And what that means is that they retain more juvenile aspects their brain doesn't fully develop. And so what happens with a Chihuahua specifically is that because they are bred to have a more youthful appearance, technically as a canine, they will also retain more juvenile features and brain structure. And what happens is that they become very aggressive because, I don't know if you guys noticed, but teenagers are very aggressive. And teenagers, you can see this in humans, but also in animals. When you go through adolescence, you become very neurotic. And so basically what's happening is that we've bred Chihuahuas to retain teenagehood or adolescence for all of their lives. And so that's why Chihuahuas are so neurotic and aggressive, is simply because they just do not have the capacity to mature beyond a certain age limit. So this is why all Chihuahuas act so aggressively. I know I went off on a tangent and you've opened up this door, but I'm a big Chihuahua nerd, actually. I have a few books on Chihuahuas and I've researched this, but I find neotenization in animals very interesting, actually. It's one of my areas of interest. And so, anyway, that's why Chihuahuas are so aggressive, and all of them, literally all Chihuahuas are mentally ill, actually. If you had to classify it, that's what they'd be considered as, because they are so neurotic. They literally, they are extremely neurotic creatures because of that. Grizz Cheese, my wife had a Chihuahua when we met, and would have 20 of them if I let her. None currently, though. We have 2 medium-large dogs. Grizz, you gotta let her have the Chihuahua. That would be me too, by the way, having 20 Chihuahuas. I have a danger of that as well. I love Chihuahuas. Okay, we got another $10 by Rowhouse. Hang on. Big one. Rowhouse asks, have to ask a foreign policy question, Daniela. Russia, Ukraine. Is Trump's policy going to scare you there? I simply wish there could be a solution with no more violence. Would Putin listen to Trump? So this is my take on the Ukraine-Russia situation in regards to Trump. And I know people have varying opinions on this. But what I'll say is this. I really do believe that if Trump was in office in the last term, that we would not have the situation that we have today there. And unfortunately, because Biden was in office, frankly, he is a weak leader. We have seen that happen across seas. We have also seen the the Hamas/Palestine, Israel situation as well, and that conflict. And so, and I know this seems like this is like a common talking point among conservatives, but it's true. Biden was a weak leader. And I really do believe that Putin has no respect for him. And if Trump was in office at the time period, this conflict wouldn't have resumed. It wouldn't have happened. And unfortunately, we are in a situation now where we are so far along in the war that some compromises may have to be made. I don't exactly know what the dealings will be surrounding that. I do think, however, is that Trump's relationship to Putin, as much as leftists or fellow conservatives like to question, and question the legitimacy of the relationship, how close they are, what did happen is that Trump did keep Putin at bay throughout the duration of his previous administration. And what I really do think is that when Trump attains his office, that serious changes will be done in ending the war. Exactly how that will occur, I don't know, but I do think that will happen. And I do think that Trump has indicated many times that this is his desires, that he wants to end the war in the benefit of Ukrainians as well. And, you know, I only have high hopes for that because For those of you that already know or that don't know, I am Ukrainian. I have Ukrainian heritage, and so I very much, despite what conservatives say, I do want Ukraine to be successful in this at the end of this, and it's very unfortunate this had to happen. And I am biased towards Ukraine in this endeavor, so I really hope that Trump's dealings with Putin will benefit Ukraine. But what I do know is that this wouldn't have happened if Trump was in office. Whatever their relationship is like, Trump and Putin, it was successful in keeping Putin at bay. What you have seen with Obama during the Obama administration is Putin encroaching in on Ukrainian territory and that admin. And then after Obama, we had Trump. It didn't happen. Go on now to Biden. A full-blown war breaks out. And so what's the pattern here? I really do think that if Trump gets into office, this war will be stifled and Russian expansion will not occur. So yes, to answer your question, Rojas, I really do think that Putin would listen to Trump. And that would be, I think, in everyone's best interest. Because I really don't think the rest of Russia wants to do this either. Again, it's brother fighting against brother. And it's very sad. It's very sad. And, I don't want to dive into it, but it's very unfortunate this is happening. $5 from Grizz Cheese. He wrote great. Grizz Cheese wrote great show. Thank you so much for the donations, Grizz. I really do appreciate that. I'm gonna thank you guys so much for the donations. And hey, if you love coffee, also go to the Grift Shop at Culturama at the forlibertyshop.com/the Culturama collection, and there you can also buy coffee as well. But thank you so much, Grizz Cheese, for the $5. I very much appreciate that. And Rowhouse, thank you for your donations as well, and for everyone else. And Entropy Nomad as well for the gifted subs. Also wonderful, wonderful turnout today. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to be putting Leo to bed now. So I'm going to pull up the next story when I come back. I think I'll just cover one more story. Also, my voice is giving out again for some reason. I apologize if you can't hear it. I feel it. But stay tuned. I'll be pulling up one more story about Viktor Orban. Apparently, Soros has come out again as a topic. So I wanted to cover that. And but Leo really needs to go to sleep. He has been out. But hasn't he been a good sport today? Look at this. Hasn't he been a good sport, my boy? I'll be right back. I will be putting him to bed, so just stay tuned, everyone, and we will have a very interesting next story.
In the diner, sipping soda pop, jukebox tunes that never stop. I see faces print from different scenes. Lost the cultures on a different dream.
In the heart they gather strong, pushing back the lefty's throng. With the red banner held high, marching forward through the night. Promises of old will keep, as the donkeys start to weep. Stars and stripes forever sway, in the land of the brave we stay. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down.
With a flagpole planted firm,
golden dreams that won't decay,
marching proudly through the day.
In the eagle's shadow by, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains tall, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we stride, in the light of freedom's sky. We got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now. The red is coming down.
In our little town, so serene, where the grass is green, the air so clean, we gather round the table every night, joyful days, oh, once I end, with values passed, with generations past, living life with love that surely lasts. As the city lights look bright, we hold to our roots tight, in our hearts the same old fires, guided by the good old days. Sharing moments with friends always divine, working hard for what we seek, respecting each word we speak, holding dear to our family ties underneath these nostalgic skies. As the city lights so bright, got too tight, but our hearts the same old fire. Yeah, oh yeah. We sway with every change of time.
Alrighty, we are back. We are back in Culturama. We are reclaiming the zeitgeist on this show. And so far, we have had a wonderful show. I'm going overtime, but you know what? That's what a stream is about, right? Sometimes you go overtime. And this next story I wanted to cover because, again, I think it's very important in the context of the international political system. And I also think it's very telling with some of the conversations that we can have and that we can't have. And unfortunately, Leo had to go to sleep. He has a very early bedtime. I love Chihuahuas, but one thing that is a big negative about owning one is that they shed like crazy. People say cats shed a lot, but I really do believe Chihuahuas shed more. So I'm trying to like take off this hair here, but it will not. It just won't work. This is why I'm like I give a lot of money to the lint brush lobby in the industry. But anyway, I saw some, let me look at the chat here. I saw a YouTube comment, Mr. Librissi, I believe your name. You said that he has been very well behaved. Yes, he is a very well behaved and very well tempered dog. So thank you for that. And he also said, I love the whole vibe, theme style of the show. Thank you so much, Mr. L. Bristi. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I see your comments in every show. So I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Grizz Cheese, I will be definitely buying some Atomic Blonde and Hazelnut in the future. Thank you so much, Grizz. I really do appreciate that. It will be launching in the shop here. So thank you so much. And I really do think you'll be enjoying it. And if you own a Culturama mug, it will be even tastier, I assure you. Okay. I do have this one last story that I wanted to touch on with you guys. And we can wrap it up. But for those that did stick around, I really think that you will get a lot from this story. So, George Soros, you guys remember him? He has come back in the zeitgeist. George Soros, a billionaire behind the EU migrant crisis. So, apparently, Viktor Orban exposed how Soros told the EU that it had to accept millions of migrants. We don't know for certain whether this is true or not, but this is what Viktor Orban claimed, the leader of Hungary. He quoted this, saying this, Mr. George Soros published his plan in English in the Project Syndicate publication 2015. He said very clearly that, quoting again, the EU has to accept at least 1 million asylum seekers annually. So let's take a listen at him explaining this here. Hold on a second.
That he is my...
This is Viktor Orban.
I do remember how Mr. George Soros published his plan in English in the Project Syndicate publication. It was done 2015, September 26. And he published a plan. He said that he is I'm quoting, he write the 6 components of my comprehensive plan. I just quote 2 or 3 points of that. First is, he said very clearly, 2015, that, quoting again, EU has to accept at least 1 million asylum seekers annually. That was the first point. Second, he said, adequate financing is critical.
Before we proceed further, I just want to ask the audience, do you think that this is something Soros would do? Considering what we already know about him and his dealings of the past, would this be something that Soros would push? And I really do find it easy to believe that he would do this. And Viktor Orban has come out and stated this in the public, but let's continue listening.
To issue long-term euro bonds for financing the migration crisis and the migrants' social and welfare taking care when they arrive to the European Union. And another point which is very important for Hungary, which is involving the territory of Hungary directly into this program, he said that, quoting them, safe channels must be established for asylum seekers, starting with getting them from Greece and Italy to their destination countries.
So basically what Viktor Orban is saying here is that George Soros is facilitating the process of accepting migrants and asylum seekers into Europe, and he has taken, Hungary included, and he has taken great issue with this. And, again, considering what Soros has been known for, I'm not surprised that this would be the case. However, a lot of people are coming out saying that this is just another ploy by Viktor Orban, and that, in fact, these allegations or these claims are anti-Semitic, simply because George Soros happens to be Jewish. And here is an article from The Guardian detailing, illustrating exactly what I just said here. But Orban turns to familiar scapegoat as Hungary rows with EU. So right-wing Prime Minister Viktor Orban reignites anti-Soros rhetoric. So apparently anti-Soros rhetoric is anti-Semitic. Let's just read the first paragraph. Hungary's right-wing Prime Minister, I like how they just have to clarify that. Right-wing Prime Minister Viktor Orban is threatening to veto the new EU budget over a provision that would link some funding for rule of law concerns. This is a reason why he brought the report up. As the standoff intensifies, he has found a familiar enemy to blame, the 90-year-old financier and philanthropist George Soros. Orban has reinvigorated his government's anti-Soros campaign, which has often been marked by conspiratorial and anti-Semitic rhetoric. As Hungary and Poland have tussled with other European leaders for the so-called rule of law mechanism, the dispute is holding up final agreement on the EU's 1.7, I don't know how to pronounce this, 7-year budget and recovery package. So anyway, and this article goes on to detail how basically this is a scapegoat that Orban is bringing up or resurrecting, a talking point from 2016, which is true. It is an older talking point that he's bringing up. But how are we not to assume or believe that he actually is doing this for a very pertinent reason, that perhaps he has truly found out that Soros really did help facilitate the migrant crisis that we are still experiencing to this day that is affecting Europe. And it's very interesting and telling that if you look this up and if you try to find more information on this issue, that you will find article after article after article by these, mega publications like The Guardian, these large-scale publications, say that this is conspiratorial and anti-Semitic. This isn't the only article that explains it this way. I could pull up at least 10 more explaining it the same way, but they're virtually all to say the same thing. Is that Viktor Orban is just a crazy right-wing anti-Semitic, and this is why he's bringing it up. Let's not look at the actual situation that's going on. And, that very well could be the case, but I doubt it is, considering that Orban has very positive relationship with Benjamin Netanyahu. And I found this article. The roots of Orban's strong bond with Israel and its PM. Hungary's solidarity with Israel may seem contradictory in the light of its propaganda against U.S. billionaire Soros. So they're coping here. They're trying to say, like, well, no, he is anti-Semitic, but he also has very positive relations with Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu. It says here that the U.S. billionaire Soros and historical anti-Semitic figures in the Fidesz's party intellectual milieu, but both sides have gained from the relationship over the years. So I guess they're killing two birds with one stone here, and they're trying to hurt the reputation of both Netanyahu and Orban. But I'm going to scroll down to this section right here. Orban and Netanyahu's relationship goes back a long way, says this article. Orban, who first sat as prime minister between 1998 and 2002, initially met Netanyahu in 2005. Orban was in opposition at the time, while Netanyahu who was first prime minister, was serving Israel's finance minister. Even then, Orban was impressed by Netanyahu's vision and how a small country like Israel could be turned into a strong nation state. And it explains here how actually Orban has a very positive relationship with Netanyahu, and it still seems to be the case. So, don't you guys find that interesting? Is that, clearly Orban has at least somewhat of a positive relationship with the country of Israel, with its leader, and still you see these articles come out, like by The Guardian, WAPO, and others come out and say, apparently this one reporting Democracy as well, come out and say that, well, no, actually he is very right-wing and therefore very anti-Semitic. This is why he's bringing up Soros. He's not bringing up Soros because his claims may be legitimate here, and that Soros actually is facilitating this asylum seeker migrant program that is demographically changing Europe. And also, we have seen crime rise in Europe ever since this has occurred. No, he's actually just anti-Semitic. And we cannot recognize the failures of the programs here that are initiating this process. And this article also claims that what Orban is engaging in is, I'm going to highlight the word here. Hold on. Tactical anti-Semitism. I like that. Tactical anti-Semitism. So he's not actually like fully anti-Semitic, but he's tactically anti-Semitic. It's very unfortunate that we cannot talk about what could potentially be very serious international issues without having be called a certain thing, whether it's racist, anti-Semitic, sexist, ableist, whatever it may be. And really what is going on here is that, again, they're letting bad guys do bad things because they don't want to be perceived a certain way. And regardless of what you think about Victor here, at least we can say that at least Victor is trying to bring attention to this. But why does it have to be a situation where he is anti-Semitic against an entire ethnicity of people if he's claiming one individual is responsible for this? Victor's not saying that the Jews are responsible for this program, for this migration crisis. No, he has a positive relationship with Netanyahu, of all people, the guy who's trying to promote the idea of a very strong nation state of Israel. And he's defending that. No, he's saying that this individual was doing this George Soros, one individual, not all of them. Just because George Soros happens to have an ethnic background of a certain kind doesn't mean he's blaming everyone of that ethnic background. He's talking about an individual. And it's really frustrating to see, and I'm sure you guys will agree with me here, that we cannot bring up certain topics if they go against the neoliberal narrative that we are seeing here internationally without being blamed and boogeymaned into being basically the next Hitler, is what they're essentially insinuating Victor as, because he's anti-Semitic. And that's just simply what's not happening here. And I don't know the politics of Hungary all too well. I do know that they have been making major strides in the development of their country, and Viktor Orban has a lot to thank for that. But I don't know. I don't know what they have to do with this. I don't know what I'm trying to say here is that I don't know why these claims of him being anti-Semitic and conspiratorial and far right or whatever they say, other than him just blaming Soros for this program. I don't know if he has gotten into other issues in the past, but based on what I've looked up, it seems to be the case that he has a positive relationship with Netanyahu. So again, I don't know why they're claiming this. other than to besmirch the story and to mar the story for your basic consumer to think that it's a nothing story and that he's just being a conspiratard. Orban is. And that, you know, he is just anti-Semitic, so therefore we shouldn't have to listen to anything that he says. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's quite unfortunate. And I did want to talk about that because I think that it is, like I said multiple times, important. Okay, we have another donation by Rowhouse. Thank you so much, Rowhouse. The $5. Elon Musk once theorized George Soros simply hates humanity. Is this what motivates him? Funding Europe's destruction to American DAs, never prosecuting criminals. Why? Money or just hatred? I think Elon Musk is somewhat right there, and I have heard that claim as well. It very much could be the case that Soros just hates humanity. I mean, you hear people say that with that Bill Gates has said the same thing, right? I think it was Bill Gates. But what you typically see is these large figureheads, very wealthy figureheads, philanthropists, funnily enough, will typically say things like, who said that quote about if they were to reincarnate as anything, they would want to be a virus? I don't know if that's been debunked or not, but I've heard that quote float around, and I think it was attributed to Bill Gates. But very crazy. But you know what? It sounds crazy, but there are people like that just simply hate humanity, and you know, and they come in all different shades, and some may come ideologically as anti-natalist, others may come as a philanthropist, like what George Soros is. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. I don't know for certain, but things like that happen. And yeah, some people just want to see the world burn. All right. I'm going to be wrapping up this stream here because I think we've exhausted all the topics that we have. Next week, I think you guys are really going to appreciate what I have in store for you. We have an interview lined up with the Dr. Joseph Cotto. We have a lot more stories, and I'm sure there's going to be more breaking news to cover as well. So I think you guys are really going to appreciate it. And what I will say is that thank you everyone for donating and tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. I know Leo is for sure, and Leo wants to thank you for the donations that you have sent in as well. And also, thank you for donating, thank you for joining, and thank you for listening. And I hope whatever messages that we have discussed here and whatever issues we have discussed here, you can talk about it amongst your friends, amongst your family. And so, you know, together we can affect the culture of the country. Trump is already, you know, doing his fair share already, and that we can affect the zeitgeist of the country. Yes, Sir House Cotto is on next week, indeed. And so thank you for everyone for tuning in, and thank you for being a part of the zeitgeist. And I hope that we can continue this forward, and I hope to see you in the next show. I hope you guys have a good rest of your evening, and I'll see you on Thursday. Oh, let me get my commercial. There we go. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Thank you, everyone, and have a good rest of your evening.
In the heart they gather strong, pushing back the lefty's throng. With the red banner held high, marching forward through the night. Promises of old will keep as the donkeys start to weep. Stars and stripes forever sway. In the land of the brave we stay. We've got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now. The Reds are going down. With a flag